Hello, welcome to part two. So again, if you go to the description below, there should be a link to the PDF that you see here. So I'm not going to go over everything in this PDF. This is mostly for Peter and the Rock. The Roman Catholic gets it confused, and so that's what this was really built for. But I figured it also worked for replacement theology part two to help understand this. Nobody's actually being replaced here. So we go to Matthew 16 and we're 18, where Jesus said, "I also say to you that you are Peter. Upon this rock I will build my church." Now the word church there, it just means an assembly. Okay, we go to the Greek. Alrighty. So that's where it's first used in the New Testament anyway, and it's built on Christ. Right? Peter makes the confession. It's an outward reflection of what went on inwardly. That inwardly was Christ in him, and so okay, it opens up a can of worms. The Father revealed it to him, okay, not the Holy Spirit. Alrighty, so yeah, after Pentecost, the Holy Spirit corporately makes people born again, right? But the Father here is the one who's revealing, and just suggests that the Father himself is not restrained by time. Alrighty, so that's a whole nother discussion. But anyway, so it suggests now. Jesus said, "Flesh and blood did not revealed to him." Now, early on in the gospel, it was revealed to him, flesh and blood, where he was told, okay. And the point Jesus is making that it's not at this instant it's the Father. So now it's inward, all right. It's inward. It's not so much by ear, and based on flesh and blood, but now based on the inward, alrighty. So the inward is Christ that's in you. Okay, remember Jesus sat on the cross, Father in your hands, I commit my spirit, so the Father can make a person born again. Okay, so then it's built on Christ. Alrighty, and keep in mind, see, a lot of people can confuse with church. They think it's just Gentiles. The first, well over 3.5 years, it was the Jewish people only, those who received the promise. Alrighty, they were the ones that were the church. There's not a single Gentile in the church at this point. Okay, not until Acts chapter 10. Alrighty. So something we need to understand. Go to Hosea. When Israel was a child, I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. That's Jesus. Alrighty. Go to Matthew here. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, "Rise and take the young child and mother and flee into Egypt and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him." And he rose, took the young child, mother, and night, departed into Egypt. Alrighty, and was there until the death of Herod, that might be fulfilled which is spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, "Out of Egypt I have called my son." That's referring to Hosea. So Christ is the true Israel. It was that way all along, and so which consists of the seed of promise, as I pointed out in part 1, Romans chapter 9, verse 6 through 8. Alrighty. So then the church gets built, and first it's the apostles, which is the foundation. Okay, as Paul points out, and then it just grows from there. So they're living stones, they're movable, mobile stones. So you got Billy Joe here, Simon here, Sally here. Okay, when 2 or 3 gather in my name, you have a church. Okay. It's just an assembly. That's all it is. So nobody's replacing anybody. Alrighty? There's nobody's replacing anybody. And so when a person accuses another of replacement theology, it's just based on a gross misunderstanding what the church really means, what's really built upon Christ. He is that Israel. So the church does not replace Israel. It does not replace the church. They are one and the same. The term church is just simply an assembly of the believers of Christ, of the true Israel, the seeds of the promise. Alrighty? So, who's really the guilty party of replacement theology? Alrighty? The dispensationalists. Alright, they replace resurrection and rapture. If we do a careful study on the meeting of the Lord of the air, I have a video on that. The word meet actually in the Greek has technicality to it that when it gets translated to English, it gets lost. and that's a big problem. Alrighty. So if you read that passage in 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17, verse 16, the Lord descending, that direction never changes. Alrighty. So it's really the rapture that we're looking for. Okay. Or the resurrection, sorry, the resurrection. And what resurrection? It's a spiritual resurrection. The first resurrection, the Christ resurrection. When a person becomes born again, you have been resurrected in you and walking in this life. Alrighty. Replace one second coming for two. Replace one plan of redemption for two. Guilty. Replace living spiritual temple for physical. Guilty. We now have a spiritual temple, living stones. Okay. It's no longer a physical temple. Replace current reign of Christ for king on hold. Replace centrality of Jesus Christ for centrality of Israel. Alrighty. So, but because the large majority of dispensationalists, when a person thinks of replacement theology, they think of the church replacing Israel, and you just go by definitions alone. That's it's based on ignorance. You know, it just means assembly. So, yeah. So anyway, so this is the guilty party. Sorry. Alrighty. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video and hope it makes sense to you and you have an awesome day. Thank you.